We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out.
Well, I'm gonna check out you guys' episodes, man. I'm gonna definitely look that up on YouTube.
We appreciate you.
For sure. And with that,
Subscribe to you.
appreciate it. And with that, I think it's time to start the show. Boy Hollywood Harwell. Welcome back to the All In Show.
Yeah.
We got the sound man.
Yeah.
The DJ.
Yeah.
The video man.
Yeah.
Editor. The well most known, the brokest and the dustiest.
Yeah.
What's up, bro, Dusty?
What's happening, man?
Man, got a real legend and
yeah.
a deep show today.
Shout out. First off, I want to shout out Pastor in the back letting us use this illustrious place. We appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
So we got two legends in the building, one in the back, one in the front. Cuz, and the big was there.
Let me hug myself.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we talking about.
Yeah.
So we don't normally introduce the legends.
Not at all.
We do normally let you introduce themselves. And today, because we want to get into it, we just will ask you to give your name and your zodiac. Once you're done, we're going to ask Pastor to go ahead and give himself a shout out, his name and his zodiac. Then we'll get it moving.
Let's get it.
Walter Jordan, A.K. House, A.K. OG. For my Navy buddies, Jordan. Zodiac sign, which I call this sign, the adjustment sign. Gemini. I can adjust to anything.
Okay. It's two of y'all, all right.
That's the two of us.
Okay, for sure.
So,
two of us.
All right.
We got two
What's
stars
your
on the
favorite
show.
teams, too?
You know what I roll with. I roll with nothing but Illinois teams.
Okay.
Nothing but Illinois teams.
We sorry to hear it, but okay.
Okay. We ain't gonna start.
So we too, so I'm going to go and use off for you.
Hey, long as Green Bay didn't get that number one wide out, I'm good.
That's all that matters.
Yes,
God,
yes.
For sure.
Pastor, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Pastor Roger Lane.
Yes, sir.
Pastor of Liberation Worship Center. Been a pastor here for 14 years.
That's a blessing.
Been in the ministry for 25 years. Zodiac sign, June 25th. Cancer.
Okay.
Yeah, Gemini.
So he's so close.
Yeah, here, Gemini.
He's
right
so
there.
close.
Yeah. He got three signs.
If anyone wanted to make it to your parish or to your church or congregation, what is the address and what times?
164 East Oak Street in the great city of Kankakee, Illinois. We have our service times at 3 p.m.
Okay.
And we're here for like an hour. 3 to about 4:15, 4:30. Praising God.
On Sundays.
On Sunday.
Let's do. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not all early.
We need you at the church,
Bro, I need to be in somebody's church. For sure. I'm definitely trying to
Catch you on fire like Eddie Murphy.
Man, not here. Not today. Not on my show.
So that's on Sunday.
Man,
not today.
Not today.
Yeah.
Pastor, two is your favorite teams.
Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago teams. I've been a Chicago Cubs fan.
Lord, have
I rock
Long
with
as
it.
I don't care if they're coming in. Hey, that's a generational thing.
That's what
I
it is.
already know it.
It is.
Uncles.
Man.
And of course, Chicago Bulls, because I got that on my license plate.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
So with them Bears too?
Yeah, the Bears cool. I like that new pick that they just got.
Yeah, Claypool.
Yeah, Claypool.
Hopefully they do a little something.
Yeah.
They can throw it to them.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
You gotta have a. Never mind.
You already know. I was just going to sit and look at you. I'm not going to say what everybody else know
We ain't
from
gonna-
all the other
This ain't the
shows.
show for that today.
Nah,
We
because
ain't
we
gonna
here for
talk
other
about
reasons.
Tampa Hay. Tom Brady getting divorces and
Man.
want to go play football.
Wow.
You've done everything. Go chill with your beautiful wife, man. Come on. Oh, now you look at yourself. You look like a skeleton out there playing, getting roughed up. Y'all ain't gonna win no more than 7
He had
games.
to jab you real
We don't
quick.
win 7, y'all ain't winning 5.
He had to jab
I'm
you real
good.
quick.
I'm good.
Y'all ain't winning 5.
I'm good.
I give you 4.
Okay. But we don't have nobody on our team with any rings.
For like 20 years.
Okay, so y'all should be doing
Y'all
better.
been rebuilding forever.
Like,
cuz.
somebody got to.
No, they were rebuilding with Lovey.
No.
They was
he was
playing
the
with
best
Lovey.
coach.
I'm gonna say it every
They
time.
fired him 10 and 6. And they been right since then.
That's the hey. Stop.
Hi, Lovey back.
Hey, stop. That's my
Do
that's my
right by
lookalike.
Lovey.
That's my lookalike.
Oh, God.
So look, let's pull it back on topic here and So you reached out to us both, and you had something on your mind. I just want you to maybe introduce and say why you came on the show, and maybe tell a little background story of what sparked it for you, if possible.
Oh, sure. 2 Sundays ago, I was in church, and I get a phone call, which the phone was on vibrate, and I seen it was my daughter, and text her saying, I'll call you back when I get out of church. And she says, Dad, I really need to talk to you. I said, okay. And my kids don't text me nothing like that.
Right.
So my mind is just wondering, as pastors, giving this sermon. I'm like, okay. And if he remembers, I just jetted out of here. I just jetted out of here. Gave my, have a good week and jetted out of here. And in between that, she says, meet me at Starbucks. I'll say, okay. Something ain't right.
Right.
Because they don't do that.
Right.
It's either come over my house. So pull up, and I see, my daughter, Jessie, is already there.
Shout out to Jessie.
Shout out.
And my other daughter, Mackenzie.
Shout out to Mackenzie as well.
Shout out.
And I see them in the car. When I get out, they get out first. And the first thing they ask, Dad, you want something to drink? I said, no, I'm good. What's up? First thing I'm thinking, okay, they finna tag team. Whenever they want something, they need somebody
Right.
tag team me.
Yeah.
Okay.
To talk to me and this and that. And she says, no, let's sit outside. Okay. So, sitting outside. Mackenzie, my youngest, on my left side, and Jesse, my oldest, on my right side. I knew something was wrong.
Take your time, cuz.
I just knew something was wrong. I didn't know if it was some of my grandkids or what. Especially when Mackenzie scooted up closer to me and grabbed my hand. What's going on? So Jessie, the oldest, she says, Dad, Tony is gone. Tony who? Your son, Anthony. Gone where? He killed himself.
Man.
Sorry to hear that, cuz.
Man. I couldn't imagine the pain.
I remember it like it was 2 hours ago, which I've been trying not to remember. I just started beating on the table. I say, why, how, when, where? He hung himself. He hung himself. If any of you that know Anthony, he did MMA for 7 years actively. Then he started coaching. So I knew it wasn't nothing from, physically he had to do something like that. And my body just went numb. My oldest and my first. It's just ironic that, Pastor, that sermon was about let go, let go. Whatever he was dealing with, and depression, anxiety, mental illness, he just couldn't let it go.
We want you to know that we take it as an honor that you reached out to us, because it's a big step, especially with the wound being so so fresh. We really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about a topic that really is, not only is it a big topic, it's something that most people brush under the rug, shy away from, allow pride and ego, mental illness, suicide, dark places that people go, that they don't feel that there's no other way out.
It's like a black hole that's endless, and you're constantly falling. And I know you probably use a lot of analogies, just me.
Oh, feel free.
Just like the conversation that you and I had a while back, and I've said this to Cuzzo too. When if you fall in a quicksand, which we don't know what quicksand is made out of, you struggle. Only thing you're gonna do is just sink.
Right.
Sink. But if you calm and you figure things out, you're gonna end up saving your life. That's what a lot of people don't understand when it's dealing with, I think, mental illness and depression, anxiety, and loneliness leads to that bad word, suicide.
Right. Yeah.
It was tough for me Sunday, very tough, where my daughters, Dad, you gonna be okay? Come over my house. No, I'm good. I think that the reason why I didn't surround myself with anyone, because I grew up, I'm an only child. Mm-hmm. So I am programmed to deal with things by myself and be by myself.
Right.
So, some people need to be around other people. Some people need to have those people coddle them or whatever. I'm just programmed to deal with things by myself. Mm-hmm. And that's what their concern was. And I told them, I'm gonna be all right. I'm not going to go and do anything. I'm not going to go into depressed mode. I need to think. And thinking is, I need to know how to pay it forward. What can I do to change things in people's lives that are going through a mental illness / depression / anxiety, things of that sort. Right. So I said I'm gonna pay it forward, and talk about it. We got to talk about it.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
We got to talk about it. It's the elephant in the room.
Yeah. For sure.
Especially since COVID happened.
Yes.
And 2020, it is estimated that 1.2 million people attempted suicide. That's in 2020.
2020.
Right when it started.
Wow. And you know why, sir? Because our mentality was challenged to the point of we're in an environment, or you were in an environment of homes or this and that, where you had to force yourself to socialize.
And deal with your issues.
You
couldn't run to hang out with the friends or be entertained.
Exactly.
Or go travel or
go work out.
None of that. You
couldn't do that. So some of these things are, say, aftermath of COVID,
Right.
And I'm gonna just jump off the subject of that. You look at how many domestic violence issues was due to COVID, because everybody's on top of each other.
Right.
That time that you were probably using to go to work 8 hours away from your friend or your spouse, now you can't do that. You couldn't do that. You was just on top of each other.
Right.
So a lot of people, haven't been able to come out of COVID the way they wanted, because it set people back mentally, physically, financially. You couldn't go to jobs the way you wanted to, get that job the way you wanted to,
right.
Things like that. So, probably dealing, with him, or Anthony, I just think that a lot of, things were built up on him. And I said this to you guys before. That wasn't the first time.
It wasn't the first cry for help?
No. You just don't wake up and say you're going to kill yourself. He had probably been contemplating how this and that, da-da-da. Again, I said this to you guys. I didn't go to work that following Monday. I said, okay, why? How? So I went on his page, and it was his profile picture was a picture of a dark angel. That was his first cry for help right there, because he would never he was always into superheroes, Guju, that animated type stuff.
Right.
He was always into that. But by him posting that picture right there, he was probably he posted that May 13th as a profile picture. June 26th was his birthday. So he was already in a downward spiral. We don't talk about it. And the question is why? And the why is because, that's the way that we are groomed.
Right.
Right. And I've said this before, said this in my analogies. I'm pretty sure mom and dad, when we were growing up, I know my mom and dad growing up, they used to be, having arguments, disagreements, but mom still had a hot plate on the table for him.
That's true.
Unfinished business. And I said this too, getting in an argument and being depressed is like walking on eggshells. But you still hear them when you walk on them. And we don't listen. We don't, want to attach ourselves to, someone being. I think it might have been like 4 or 5 years ago. I remember it was a time where people was jumping off the Kankakee River Bridge. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. People jumping off the Kankakee River Bridge. People driving their cars in there. Piggyback off that. That's where I was at 2 years ago. It wasn't for my daughter Jessie saving my life. I was going to take my car into the Kankakee River because I was depressed. And people ask you what can trigger it.
Right. You know what? So, before I say my statement, okay, if you don't mind, I'd love to give your son Anthony.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Michael Jordan.
We'd like to give a moment of silence for Anthony. I pray you and the family find peace. Definitely.
At the end of the day, we have no other choice.
When I was 21 years old, life was tough. I had been homeless for 9 months by that point, right? I don't even think I was 21 yet. I may have been right before 20. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of things that were weighing down on me. Couldn't get a good job. Couldn't, when you don't have a place to live, it ain't, you at other people's beck and call as you trying to figure out where you gonna eat, how you gonna shower, where you got to give your money to, so that you always have something. Mm-hmm. I was a big drinker early in life, and it, not saying that I didn't enjoy drinking and partying, right, but it went to an extreme around this time because that's how I had housing. Right. So if I came over with a bottle to your house and we party, I can use the excuse I passed out drunk. I got a place to stay for the night.
You got a plan.
Or I used to work at Target, right? At the night shift. I started at 4 a.m. Well, if I go party with the people partying, they going to give me a ride to work, right? Right. Because I'd have bought a little liquor for them, so now I got a ride to work. Well, anyway, I had a real bad dispute with my older brother. He said some really hurtful things towards me. It's all love now. All of that's in the past. And that was a straw that broke the camel back. So, we end up going to my mom's house, me and a couple friends, and I'm outside our house. I'm technically not supposed to be at her house, and I'm irate. Life is not going anywhere near how life is supposed to be. Right. So I'm at that point. It was the breaking point. This got to end. Right. I can't live this no more. There was no other way out. Yeah. Talking to my parents wasn't getting it. Relatives wasn't getting it. Friends didn't understand. So, I don't know how they saw it. It's not like I screamed it out. I just started bawling. And so we're at my mother's gate, and I'm trying to get out the gate. I nicely try to walk out, and they like, nah, something going on with you, Right. So I end up wrestling with the guys. I'm flinging them around trying to get out the gate. Fling them out the way, I get out the gate. I see. So we lived on the corner of Birch and Indiana, right by Morningstar.
I know you're talking
about. One more block over. And I dart for the street. Indiana's busy. I dart for the street. I'm finna take a car head on. Wow. This got to end. So no exaggeration, no lie. I get in the street. I see a car. I turn. As I turn, I'm running towards the car. From nowhere, my mom Now, she wasn't outside of any of that. From nowhere, she tackles me. But I'm a big boy. She can't. I've already got my momentum going towards the car. So when she tackled me, we still going towards the car.
Both of y'all.
My best friend come from nowhere and tackle her out. Save our lives.
Wow. And that's something that you'll never forget.
Never. I almost killed my mother.
Killed two birds with one stone.
I mean, I make the story sound long and exaggerated out. All of this happened in like 15, 18 seconds.
I feel
She heard us out there fighting. She came out the door to see what happened. She saw me run. She took off after me. She don't even know what's happening. It's mother instinct.
Right.
Almost killed my moms. So when you talk about mental health and being at your lowest lows, I can't tell you how your son felt because everybody goes through different circumstances and different issues.
Right.
But I for sure understand.
You understand?
I completely understand.
And I'm pretty sure everybody that's probably viewing here, you've been there. You know, maybe not to that extreme, you know, and you need to thank and appreciate whoever pulled you out before you went up under. Because if they didn't, Lord knows what you would have done. And you've probably been thinking about what you was going to do.
People who have never been to that low, they don't understand that you don't know how to ask for help.
No.
And it's not that you don't want to accept someone's help. You don't know how. It's so low. All the attempts that I have made have just taken me lower.
Right.
And no matter what I do, the light at the end of the tunnel just didn't show. But it changed after that for me.
Right.
And that's what changed me into, not saying I wasn't positive before, but that's what changed me into this overload positive guy. This is the reason why on Facebook, I don't post for likes. I don't post for fun, but I post because I know what it's like to be at that low. That's why I always post that positive stuff and all that loving stuff, because I hope one day I catch an Anthony.
Yes.
I hope one day I catch a Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, in my story, in the story you telling now.
Right.
I hope this can catch somebody and be like, oh, well, if they made it through,
I can.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's one of those situations that, you know, we have to change the way that we see and the way that we approach, and like, you know, pre-conversations we had, you know, especially I think it was the day after Monday when I was talking to Cuzzo, and I said, when we were growing up, you know, we can identify what that person might have been mentally or something was wrong with them. You know, in my era, it was someone walking down the middle of Court Street during traffic, you know, with a grocery cart full of cans or, you know, metal. Right. So that's the person. Man, I used to go to school with him. I knew he was crazy, man.
Right.
You know, I knew he had a problem, man. It's not that person anymore. It's the person that got on the $200 Jordans. It's the person that got on the $300 outfit. It's the person that has a good job. It's the person that's driving a nice car. Because you know what? If that person is dealing with something that's making them uncomfortable or making them not sleep good at night,
Right.
or they're really struggling with whatever, and they go to Walter and they say, hey, Walt, I got this problem. You know, and Walter says, you know, well, what is it? You know, and then he starts talking and, you know, trying to find a way to talk to him or express himself. And then Walter said, man, you all right.
Yeah, you got it. Don't worry about it.
You good.
We definitely had this conversation. Yeah.
You good. Man, you got a nice job. Man, you got you got your family. You know, you're trying to cover up the negative that he is probably feeling with all positive. And that's not the case.
It doesn't work that way.
It don't.
It doesn't work that way because the things that I have are not my issues.
No.
The things that I'm missing.
Exactly, and that's one of the conversations I said. Because you know, shout out to my boy, you know, Herbie B.
Shout out to Herbie B.
My shipmate. You know, he called me during the week. He was like, Jordan, you all right? He called me at work. I said, yeah, I'm good, B. What's up? I'm good. Man, I've seen your post, man. Yeah, do I need to fly up there? He stays in that ATL. He said, do I need to come up there? I said, nah, B, I'm good. And he said, what happened? So I got to explain it to him. And he said, Jordan, instead of asking a person what's wrong, Ask them what's missing.
That's deep. That's deep.
What is missing out your life for you to feel this way? So then when you ask that person that person is thinking, okay, what's missing? I don't feel love. Okay. So now your reply is, now that he didn't disclose this, you should incorporate, okay, what do we need to do to make you feel love? Because now you done brought me into this equation.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So when you start saying, if you say this, okay, well, what do you need to do to make yourself? See, he's still individual. He's still dealing with it himself. Mm-hmm. But when we incorporate, we attach ourselves, that person right now feels like, okay, there is someone that cares about me. Mm-hmm. There's someone that's concerned about my issues. So we turn around and we say things that is not comforting to someone, they're not going to talk about it. They 2 or 3 weeks, whatever, they're going to commit suicide. You're going to be missing them.
Especially males.
Yes.
So males make up 49% of the population in the world, but they account for 80% of the suicide.
Wow. Say it again for the people in the back.
49% of the population in the world is male. They account for 80% of the suicide.
But we'll turn around and see someone say that there's no good men out there.
You ever had any type of low like that?
No, I have not.
Is it hard for you to understand that?
Yes.
Okay, that's
it. Elaborate for us.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, bro.
It's deep.
Because it's important from the other end.
Like, you try not to label it or call it something because you don't want to give it a negative connotation. You know what I'm saying?
True. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I don't know, just learning about it and just learning how people get there and how they do check out is all new for me. Not to say I don't know nobody that hasn't done that, because I know plenty of people who've been there, but for me it's just a little different. So it's hard for me to understand it, but it's easy for people who feel like that to come to me for advice, I guess. So so with that, I just try to be positive as I can, but it is hard for me to understand fully getting that deep.
Because I think the reason that it's hard for you to understand is because I was once there too 2 weeks ago. It didn't happen in, nothing like that happened in my backyard, until this, and I say this, I say this to people whenever I see them out and about. I never thought that I would be a part of a sorority, a club, or parents of this magnitude. If it's through gun violence, if it's through suicide, or if it's through natural causes or their child or whatever. Even with a child, even I would say, even go as far as this, even a child missing.
Right.
I would rather know that my child is deceased than for me to be like, my child is missing. I don't even know what the heck they at. That would just drive me. Yeah. That would drive me crazy. I'll just say, okay, my child is not here no more. But just the thought of missing, I can't find it. Have you ever, just put in perspective of you can't find your keys times 10.
I'm already knowing.
Times 10. Just imagine your child.
I shit every day, so
I was just gonna say the same thing.
I lose my keys once a day.
I don't curse all the time.
Yes.
If you want to be curses when I lose the keys.
So just imagine you can't find your kid is missing.
Right.
I would rather have unfortunately, God forget, I'd rather just say that they're not here. At least I know where they're at. They're not on this earth. Mm-hmm. Have a kid missing, they can be in Hawaii or somebody could have snatched them up. Lord knows what someone is doing to them.
Right.
So, with that being said, that's the way that I felt. You see it, you hear it, with people, dealing with, my son is not here, my daughter's not here, they took their life. I never thought that I'd be signing one of my kids' birth certificate and death certificate in my lifespan. I never thought that.
They said parent never supposed to bury their
I
child.
never thought that. For me to sign my name to his death certificate, I was shaking. This can't be real, man. This can't be real. You know, when we dealing with, you know, we say mental illness. Okay.
But that's just a big umbrella to put it all under.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to say.
It's the easiest. It's depression.
It can be emotional illness. It can be.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I would rather deal with someone, you know, that's an alcoholic or a drug addict. At least I can see it. You know, if you saying that, you know, you've been sober for a month, then you come around me and I smell alcohol. Nah, I smell you.
Right.
You know, when it comes to people with mental illnesses, you know, shout out to the Kankakee Valley Park District.
Shout out.
You know, they did a celebration of life for him this past Sunday. So he just got hired on full time. You know, some of the people that I encountered with them, the first thing they said, he was always a good, you know, exuberant, happy. I never would have thought that, because when we're dealing with depression, we know how to hide it.
You know what? And I want to say this before we go to our commercial break. As a person who went through that, it wasn't that I was hiding it. Personally. I was looking at solutions in people that I trust. Mm-hmm. And my verbiage wasn't working for them. Because like you said, you got it, you cool. Yeah, you ain't got no place to stay, but you keep a little money on you. You get to party regularly. You get to, you know what I mean? And you like, yeah, but that's not what I want to do in that life at all. So I don't think we hide it. I think we don't know who to reach out and how to say it. Even with weight loss, right? So I'm in this, and I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna go to commercial. Mm-hmm. I just
double zeros, we good. 5 more minutes.
Okay, cool. So even with weight loss, so Mitch has tried multiple times to help get me going, right? Mm-hmm. And he has a good effort, but it's hard for me to tell Mitch, bro, we live too far apart for me to regularly be able to come down there. Right. Because it sounds like an excuse. And if it's one thing I know talking to Mitch, Mitch, what you don't like?
Excuses.
So he's going to tell me, no, you need to lose it, so you got to figure out a way to make it happen, right? Mm-hmm. So it's easier for me to just acknowledge what he's saying to me and move on. But I'm asking him for help.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I'm saying it.
Right.
But he can't give me what I need, and I can't comply to the way he got help for me. So eventually I had to go on Facebook and say, yo, I need a workout partner.
I seen it.
In the Chicagoland area.
I seen it.
Right?
Yeah.
I had to humble myself and say, yo, this is getting too bad. And it's crazy because I know what to do. I know how to do it. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know if you seen the Chris Cal Meets episode with Denise. Mm-hmm. Shout out for Show to My Peoples. Mm-hmm. They'll tell you, I know. A lot of stuff that they were talking about, I already knew. I just played along for the show. Or even Chris had to break character and say, he know this. I don't even know why he know it.
Yeah.
But go to a bad place. Because I'm not saying I don't go bad places. I still do.
Right.
I go to a bad place. It's hard to get out of.
Right.
And then he don't have what I need. But I trust him. So I'm coming in with it.
Right.
He can't. Eventually I had to just put it out in the universe.
Yeah.
And actually I got a couple people back who
and that's
start working out with.
And that's the first step right there. Yeah. You have to acknowledge to yourself, on what you need done. If when my situation, when I was going through it, which I'll probably talk about that later, now that people that came to me or was helping me, they said, well, what? Because you said something. Because you reached out, and you tried to do this and you tried to do this. So that's the first acknowledgement. You have to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself because he's blue in the face. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, come to some type of realization like, okay, what am I doing?
Right.
What am I trying to do?
Right.
I can't sit up here and just keep on, doing this, save face, doing this and doing that. I try to tell people when I used to work at McDonald's, shout out to McDonald's.
Shout out to McDonald's. Never thought I'd say it.
Hell yeah.
Yes. I used to tell.
That's where you're going to go. You do it at this church again.
I used to tell people this.
That's your 5 more minutes. There you go.
I'm playing. Out of 100% of a problem, when you take 50% of ownership of the problem, you've solved half of it. The other 50% is on that person. The other 50% is on that person. As long as you know that you can try to solve it, as long as you can try to take ownership of it, the rest of it is on them.
Beautifully said. And on that, we're going to go to commercial. See you back in a little bit. All In Show.
All In
Legend.
Show.
Yeah.